show to get. Boy, do we have a lot of show. And, hey. Oh, thank you. Hey, give yourselves a hand for getting through 100 days of Donald Trump. Right? 100 days of Trump. It's like Lent if we all gave up reality. Yeah, they're big on this 100-day mark. Some people, of course, are disappointed at his lack of accomplishment. Vladimir Putin. All that work for nothing. But you know who thinks Trump is doing a great job? Yes, Donald Trump, I know. Who'd have thought Donald Trump? A reporter asked him to grade himself. He gave himself an A. Ooh, who would have knocked me over with a feather? Donald Trump giving himself an A. And you can trust that grade because he used to own a fake university. But he... The White House this week put out a list of his accomplishments. And most of them were not accomplishments. Like on the list was partnering with the private sector. Yeah, that's what government does, not an accomplishment. Got all my kids jobs, not really something... One of them just said, word for word, I'm quoting this, women and space exploration. Yeah, Trump... Trump knows about women and space. His wife lives 200 miles away. You know, it's a lot of space. Honey, we need space. But it's so telling. He gave an interview today, and he was very revealing. He said, this is more work than my previous life. I thought it would be easier. He said that, yeah. Who knew? Nobody knew. Nobody knew that presidenting would be so hard. It looks so easy in the movies when Morgan Freeman does it. I didn't know. He doesn't... Here's what he said he doesn't like. He's isolated. He misses driving. And when you say stuff, people check to see if it's true. Whiny little bitch, isn't he just... But there does seem to be a pattern emerging here after 100 days that we can see. First, Donald Trump pulls shit out of his ass and says, so easy to fix, so easy. Then, phase 2, nobody knew. Nobody knew it was hard. And then phase 3, we go back to what Obama was doing. Trade with China, go back to that. ISIS, go back to that policy. The Iran deal, go back to that. Healthcare, NAFTA, all the campaign. All he talked about was not the worst deal ever. Fucking disaster. Now, you know what happened this week? He talked to the Mexican president. He talked to the Canadian prime minister. NAFTA's back on. Same thing happened when he talked to the Chinese president. Suddenly, we're on their side. He's like the Manchurian candidate, but you don't even have to hypnotize him. Just tell him he's pretty. You're all in. But plainly, we have this president who knows nothing, didn't know anything about any of the issues, not about the basics, and I mean the basics, like how a bill becomes a law. How many branches of government we have. I mean, he didn't know what Brexit was. He didn't know who the Kurds were. He didn't know what the nuclear triad is. It's like the president is a baby with a mobile over his head. He's just learning about things. Did you know what he did this week? He bussed the entire Senate. Did you see this? Over to the White House to get a briefing on North Korea. The entire Senate, or as Sean Spicer said, over 1 million senators. But, you know, this was supposed to be the super top secret briefing, the entire Senate. At the beginning of the week, the administration was all they could talk about. They trumpeted it. This was a very serious stuff. All the senators, the memorandum came out of the White House, said the Senate will be addressed by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the CIA, the Secretary of Defense. Then Rex Tillerson will speak, because there's a first time for everything. And then the president will talk about his ratings on The Apprentice and Ivanka's new line of strappy sandals and the time he won the Electoral College. Cake will be served, and it will be the best cake. A lot of people are already saying it's the greatest cake in the history of the world. Mental illness is sad, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's... And if you need proof of that, he unveiled the tax plan this week. I don't have time to go into the details. Just suffice it to say, the wealthiest people in America are finally going to be catching a break, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that awesome? Tax plan? What a charitable word for it. It was one page with no math. I'm not kidding. That's the tax plan. That's not a tax plan. That's a resume for a manager at Chuck E. Cheese. You know what they said? They said, well, it's rough. Rough? I mean, there's rough, and then this is so rough it needs a safe word. And the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, said he... Something like that. I can't pronounce anything. He said he wants people's taxes to fit on the back of a postcard. And on the front of the postcard, an ad for 25% off on Ivanka's strappy sandals. They're really pushing those sandals.